On this channel, I talk a lot about the history of Counter-Strike maps and maps from decades ago that I think are interesting. But in this video, I want to introduce you to a few maps that haven't had the chance to make history yet. Also, this is my first video since my short break, so I wanted to come back with something nice. I'm giving away this Falchion Knife Black Laminate. All you have to do to enter is subscribe and comment your favorite Pro CS player. I'll pick a winner in 1 week's time. Thank you. Dharma is a map set in India. I love it when mappers take advantage of a setting not yet included in the game. We have enough maps set in North Africa, Europe, and the lower 48, and that is really only a small portion of the world, so we've got a lot of room to explore. Set in northern India along the Ganges River, Dharma is a truly beautiful map. It takes elements seen in traditional CSGO maps, like tight streets and more urban areas, and meshes them with the rarely seen elements of Indian architecture and culture. It really is a wondrous map. The views into the bay are amazing, and it deals with verticality very, very well. One of my favorite maps to look at is actually Favela, which is an old community map. Parts of Dharma actually remind me a lot of the parts that I love of Favela, the back streets and lower class urban detailing. Making these streets look cluttered without them actually being cluttered in gameplay is something that I think both of these maps master. When it comes to the actual design of Dharma, I can't say if it will play well, but it certainly looks interesting. The map seems to lack a middle, at least in the traditional sense. What is labeled as mid on the map is really only a route that matters to those executing on the A-bomb site, similarly to Inferno in this matter. But I would also struggle to call it fully experimental as well, due to the more normal nature of everything else. It certainly is a strange map, and there are some areas that I struggle to find reason for, although I am certain that with a map as well thought out as this one, Dharma has earned the right to try out a few things. Nevertheless, Dharma feels different to play than any other map in the game, and tries out some cool things, such as the CTs being able to push very far up the midsection before the Ts can contest. My favorite part of this map is the Heaven Rotate area here on the B site. I love it when people do things that haven't really been done before, and this open heaven being the main rotator positions for CTs is really interesting and cool. The mappers behind Dharma have worked together in the past on a map called Calamari, first released in 2016. Their progression from Calamari to Dharma is amazing. One of the two, Gino, actually released a map called Colony before that, in 2014, and it got reviewed by everyone's favorite map reviewer, Cotton, for the 2014 CSGO competition. Even if he was often kinda ignorant of very obvious things and he had his biases, these CSGO mapping competitions were really cool and really turned the mapping community into what it is today. Another map I really mess with is Turbine. It has gained a lot of traction on the workshop in the past few months, so there's a good chance you've heard of it already, but it's still worth a shout. The creator of Turbine is a mapper that I've actually been following for a minute. When I was in my Tuscan phase around 3 years ago, their map Sonora was my favorite of the modern Tuscan remakes, and I still love this map's modern take on the Tuscan layout and visuals. Later on, they created the Wingman map Sawmill, which I was also a really big fan of and wanted added to the game badly. I played 1v1s on this map with my friends a lot back in the day, but Turbine is something different entirely. Turbine is absolutely the magnum opus of Fuseb's mapping journey. To start off, this is absolutely fucked up. Like, how the hell is it possible to have something like this in a CS map just off to the side, barely visible in gameplay? The A site itself is also amazing, with beautiful moving parts and a great use of verticality, reminiscent of Sub-Zero or Engage, two of my favorite community maps. The map as a whole is both great looking and so different from the norm, and because of that I think the comparison of Sub-Zero comes back. Both Sub-Zero and Turbine are maps that take a new setting, absolutely smash it out of the park in terms of detailing, and meanwhile create a cool new experimental layout. I think that Turbine might have the most extensive detailing in non-playable parts of the map out of any Counter-Strike map that I have ever seen. This, along with the fairly open skyboxes, makes Turbine really feel like an actual place rather than a killbox. But it also causes Turbine's biggest flaw, performance. This map is far from being badly optimized, but with this much detail it becomes laggy easily. I experienced quite a few areas with frame drops and stutters just walking around the map, and this will undoubtedly get worse with smokes, mollies, and players. Nevertheless, maps that are this beautiful and have had this much work put into them clearly deserve a shot in the game, and I wish the best for Turbine and its creator. This could be an issue though. If you're watching, you should probably fix this ASAP. The third and final map I would like to draw your attention to is Tychos. This is going to be a bit different than the last two because Tychos is not an amazingly crafted map made by a team of experienced mappers over a few years. Tychos was made by one person over 3 months. That isn't to take away from it though, the reason I am including this map is because of the variety and diversity the mapper shows despite this. Visually, Tychos uses assets from Ancient, so its setting is nothing new for Counter-Strike. I'm not going to say this is a super bad thing because the assets are usable for a reason and Ancient is a pretty map. The only thing is, I doubt that Valve would include a map that uses assets already from the game. For someone with the skill set of the creator of Tychos, it might be worth it to reach out to someone to collaborate with on the visuals of your next map. The map's creator, Aspect, does do a great job at making use of Ancient's assets. The map looks very natural. However, a lot of the problems I have with Tychos stem from the detailing. I don't want to focus on this too much, so I'm just going to rapid fire through them. Tychos feels quite cluttered. Visibility is another issue created by using Ancient's graphics so pervasively throughout the map. The boundaries could also be defined better. There are plenty of spots that it feels like you could reach even though you can't. I'm not saying that you should be able to reach these spots, I'm just saying it needs to be more clear that you are unable to reach them. And lastly, the heavy use of Ancient's graphics causes a minor hit to performance. The truth is, those are the only major criticisms I have with the map. The layout is very fun and different from anything else. I think if Aspect cleaned up a bit of these issues, most of which are not too tough to fix, this map would be great. The use of verticality is extremely unique. I love the way that this B main route flows together. Mid control is very important on this map, as when you open up the routes to each site from middle, gaining control becomes a lot easier and you can split the CT defense in half. It is a tough fight though, as Connector is an incredibly powerful and fun position to play on CT. The cave route to A feels a bit claustrophobic, but as there will, for the most part, only be 1 or 2 players pushing, this'll probably be fine. The main terrorist route to the A site is interesting, as it's a fairly straight line from CT spawn to A site to T spawn. There are a lot of long angles on this map, and because of this, opping is very powerful. There are also a lot of super strange angles that you can hold. In practice, a few of them will definitely end up being either unfun or overpowered, but trying them out is worth a shot and they add character to the map, so whatever. Tychos is not a perfect map by any means, but I love the things it tries out and it has certainly made me excited for Aspect's next work. After all, it seems like they've only been mapping for a little over a year. They have a lot of time to grow. The workshop is one of the things that makes CSGO unique. No other game has such a directly integrated community, at least no other top-level esports game. Mapping is not an easy thing to get into. I hope that with this video I've inspired a few of you to pick up Hammer and get started. Hammer sucks right now, but when Source 2 finally comes out for CSGO, mapping will be something that more people can do, and I am extremely excited to see what amazing creations come out of that. The workshop is one of the world's largest digital art galleries, displaying the talent and genius of our creators in a medium understood only by us, the players. Mapping is art, and Counter-Strike is the canvas. Thank you.